Okay. That's enough meatloaf for me. I've had enough meatloaf. I like meatloaf. Meatloaf is all right, but too much is too much. Come on. We can only take so much. I'm not into 8 minutes of meatloaf at this point in time right now on today. It's a Manic Monday. Welcome to the show, Earthlings. We're going all over the place today. That's right. On Manic Monday, my name is Paul K. Lemire. This is Your City, Your Voice, coming to you live from downtown Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada, as usual, in the beautiful studios of 4680Q Radio. Yeah, that's where we broadcast out of. And if you're trying to find us, look for the Meteor Crater on Chrysler Avenue. It's right across the street. What am I going to do when they fill that Meteor Crater in? What am I going to do when they build something? Actually, the city actually builds something on it. They've been promising for 7 years. That hasn't happened yet, but you never know. Maybe one day it will. And when it does, what am I going to talk about? I don't have any landmarks. I'll have to see the big ugly building across the street. I guess I don't know. Anyway, before we start the show, we're going to get to our sponsors. And our sponsors are Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop, Hamilton Glowstone Lighting, and Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue. And by the way, out there, if you are listening and you do have a business and you would like to be a sponsor of the show, let me know. Give me a call. You can message me on Facebook. You can email me at paullemire@cogeco.ca, or you can just call 905-353-7560 for more information. And here I go with the hums. It happens all the time. But first, we're going to talk about Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop. And, this is the time of year when we're starting to get into the weather. And look at today. I mean, it's chilly out there. We went from 80 degrees almost on the weekend to maybe 65 today. It's not that warm out there, although, it's a partly cloudy day and the sun's peeking out. So it's not a bad day. It's a pleasant day, but it definitely isn't the heady days of the 80s and 85s we're moving into now. So Ken Hunter, the owner of Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop, has decided to offer everybody a free end of summer inspection on their car. That's right. You bring it in. His mechanics take a look at your brakes, suspension, tires. They give you a free computer scan of your systems. They check your fluids, lighting, and they take your vehicle for a test drive to see if they can hear anything they can't figure out. And you know what? It's all free. That's right. He's offering you that. Come in, get your car checked over, and get ready for winter, because the worst thing that can happen is basically you hit winter, your car's not running right, it breaks down. Then in the worst day of the year, it'll happen, and you got to call CAA. They're not going to be around. It's a big schmozzle. Best is to be proactive. Get it done. Get it checked out. Get your car over to Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop on Oakwood Drive, right next to the Kia dealership. Ken Hunter will be there. Tell them you want your car checked out. Take advantage of that free end of summer inspection. And if for some reason you get in an accident, you don't have to worry about that. He's got a full body shop. He'll get your car out of their shop looking like it just came out of the showroom. Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop on Oakwood Drive in Niagara Falls. Give him a call. Tell him Paul from Your City, Your Voice, that's me, sent you. Right? And we thank him for being a sponsor of the show, along with our other two sponsors, which we will talk about later on in the show. Don't worry, we'll get to them. Great businesses that support the community and are involved in the community. And that's what we like to see from business. They get their money from the citizens and they give back to the city, and they all do. Okay, so like I say, it's a beautiful day out there. Not bad. It's not 80, but it's pleasant, and that's what we want. It could be pouring rain, and it could be really, really, really miserable. That's what I call it this time of year. When it rains and it's chilly out, it's just miserable. That's the way you gotta earmark it, as a miserable day to be outside. One thing I do want to mention, I'm gonna have a sip of water here. One thing I do want to mention, though, is two guys who were in here last week, and I don't think I mentioned it on my show. I did a little video, but I didn't mention it on my show, I don't believe. So I'd like to mention them, Gary Wilkins and Dave Wheeler, who came in and presented the Rick Rose Foundation with a check for 500 and some cash from Wheels, totaling $600, and it was unbelievable. They donated to the Rick Rosa Foundation to help children out in their musical path, if that's what they decide, and also to keep the memory of Rick Rose, of course, who owned 4680Q and was a music legend in Niagara Falls, who passed away on July 14th last summer, and it was really really nice of them. The family was honored. Jake, Rosa, and oh man, I always forget the daughter's name. Is it Maureen? If it's not, I apologize. Excuse me. I don't. I've never met the daughter, to be honest with you. I know Jake and I know Rick, of course. Knew Rick and Rosa, but I've never met the daughter. I think her name is Maureen. If I don't, my apologies. If it's not right. Oh, I get names mixed up. But anyway, it was a great tribute to Rick. The family was very appreciative, and I thank them, as regulars on my show, contributors to my show, and friends of the show, and friends of myself, that they would do such a great thing for Rick Rose and the Rick Rose Music Foundation, spearheaded by Gary Wilkins, and jumped in on with Dave Wheeler, getting in on the donation as well. Thank you so much, you guys. You're good friends with me, and I love you to death, both of you. And you've got big hearts. That's what I can say. You both have big hearts, and everybody appreciates it. Oh, down in Florida now, we're talking about the great weather here, but poor Florida. I mean, they're just recovering from Hurricane Helen 12 days ago, and now they're being told they have to evacuate again. And basically, this hurricane that manifested itself in the Western Caribbean in Gulf of Mexico, um, actually is expected to make landfall as a Category 3 hurricane sometime on Wednesday afternoon, and it has its sights set directly at Tampa Bay again. Now, there's a window between I think it's Indian Rocks, Indian Shores, or something like that. Let me see what I write down here. I had the right name. Let's see, Indian Rocks to Fort Myers. That's the window. They figure it's going to land somewhere in there, depending on the model that you look at. And they just got rocked 2 weeks ago. I saw the little resort that we stayed at when we were there in March, and it was just head to toe with sand, and water got in and everything else. A big mess. They haven't even had access to it, and they haven't even been back yet. And now they've got another one breathing down their neck. And if it hits Tampa directly, that's the first time a hurricane's hit Tampa in 100 years on a direct hit. Um, it's just unbelievable. And you talk about coincidences, but I don't really believe in coincidences. Now we know they can modify weather and do things. I think that's a proven fact. But in this case, it's got to be, come on, two hurricanes, Cat 3, Cat 4 hurricanes in less than 2 weeks at the same place. I mean, who are they trying to wipe out? They tried to wipe out people in Louisiana and New Orleans in the Ninth District, and they did it. And now by a hurricane, and now they're like that was Katrina. And now they're doing the same thing with these two, Helen and Milton. It's just insane that this could be happening. And if you want to call it a coincidence, go ahead. But man, yeah, it's very suspicious that this could happen just like this in 2 weeks. You get whacked again. Good news for Georgia, Tennessee, North Carolina, Western North Carolina, because they really got zapped with that hurricane making a left-hand turn and going straight up through that continuum, straight up to there, and right up the corridor to whack those states and cities as well along the path. This one's expected to track right across Florida out into the Atlantic again. So at least they're not going to get whacked again. But still, what a crazy weather here. And I know people are going to say climate change, climate change, climate change. Yeah, yeah, yeah. There's been hurricanes for thousands, well, forever. They're just naturally occurring, but these ones here are different. They're coming out of the Gulf of Mexico, not from Africa. I mean, I personally have never seen this. I cannot remember a hurricane that manifested itself in the western Gulf of Mexico and then all of a sudden turned into a Category 4 hurricane or 3 hurricane. They usually come off the coast of Africa by the Cape Verde Islands, and then they either go like north, they make a turn, right hand turn north along the Atlantic coast, or in the middle of the Atlantic for that matter, and then they some of them go straight into the Caribbean, between the ABC Islands and usually Jamaica and that. Then they start making their turns after that. These are pretty bizarre, to say the least. But there they are. They're happening. And if you've got a warning to evacuate everybody, I would say get the hell out of town. I mean, we have, you've been hammered. And Florida's a swamp anyway. So the storm surge in the water is just going to make it even worse. Get the hell out of Dodge. And my prayers go to everybody down there. I know a lot of people that are down in Florida, and take your warnings, get out of there, let it go by, and be safe while you're doing it. A lot of interesting conversations on Facebook regarding the new twin towers going up where the Oaks is. Yeah, the city council announced it. The planners are in there saying there's two 58-story twin towers going up where the Oaks is. And I'm going, okay, okay. Now, I was opposed. I wasn't opposed to them. I like to see them, but I wish they would build something iconic. Well, most people's complaints were they were called the Twin Towers because it's an affront to the memory of the people who died in the Twin Towers takedowns in 2001, 9/11, of course, and and they didn't like that. But you know what? People have to realize these two towers were not called the Twin Towers. That wasn't their name. That's the name people gave them. Just like the two towers in Malaysia, the Petronas Towers, they're called the Twin Towers, and that's what they're called. They're nicknames. It's not disrespecting anything. It's just a nickname for two giant-sized towers. That's what it is. Now, what they were really called is One World Trade Center and Two World Trade Center. That was their official names. That's what they were called. So the Twin Towers is just any. I call people to. I know these two guys are 6'8". I call them the Twin Towers. It's no disrespect to people are so woke and it drives you crazy. Some people didn't like the skyline. Oh, they're going to have the skyline, two more big buildings on the skyline of Niagara Falls. And I am not opposed to the skyline looking great in Niagara Falls. When you come over that Rainbow Bridge and look into the falls and see the buildings, as opposed to looking over from our side and looking at Niagara Falls, New York, it's impressive. And especially at night when they're all lit up. It's something to see. Looks fantastic. But the ones that they were building though, two 58-story monoliths. I mean, it's just there's nothing iconic about them. There's nothing good looking. They're two walls, 58 stories tall. That's it. I mean, there's nothing that you look and you say, "Wow, holy crap!" Like you see some of these buildings and they have all different angles and curves and everything else, and they do all kinds of things with architecture today. But I guess the cheapest way to build them is that rectangle monolith style. So I don't know, are they cheaping out or what? Right down there's a list I saw of 31 of the most beautiful skyscrapers in the world, and at 58 stories, you can call these skyscrapers. And not one of them are built like a monolith. Of course not. It's a square box, a rectangular box standing on end. I mean, I don't know. I think council should have said, listen, we don't mind you doing this, but make it something that we can be proud of in this city. I've seen some nice designs coming out of the architects and people who want to develop some buildings, and they're pretty darn nice. And they're not just two monoliths. I mean, I don't know. I'm just not thrilled with them. Let me put it that way. But they're kind of like unimaginative. But on the other hand, you have to consider this. There's always another side to the story. The developers are trying to squeeze two 58-story buildings on a limited piece of land. There's limited space there. They can only do so much with the footprint, the space. So, these two ugly monoliths are maybe all they can really squeeze in there and get up to 58 stories. If you're gonna do it like, say, a pyramid, that you need maybe a bigger base. So on that property, they might only be able to build one tower that's iconic rather than two, and they want to maximize the rooms and that kind of thing. So that could be a reason why they chose this design. It takes up the least room on a piece of land, and allows them to do other things like some parking and some commercial space that's tiered, and the things that they're looking to do with it. So that could be why they have to build like that. Me personally, I'd rather see one iconic building than two big monoliths. But it's their money; they can spend it the way they want, right? Now, other people said that they may be filled with by refugees, because that's what the Oaks is filled with, refugees. But I don't have confirmation from that from anyone. So if anybody out there knows if it's filled with refugees right now, the Oaks, let me know. I people said that, but it's on Facebook. So, um, but once construction starts, they're going to have to vacate the building anyway. They're tearing the Oaks down, and they're going to have to vacate. And then I don't know if they'll fill them up after. By the time they get them built, it might not be a problem anymore. So that's pretty interesting. And of course, there are other people who think that building these two twins towers is a waste of money. They should be building homes for the homeless. And I'm going, well, I mean, they're really comparing apples to oranges. It's impossible to tell a developer what they should be building. I mean, this is what they're going to build in a tourist area that's going to make money. I don't think you can convince them to take the money they're going to spend on these two 58-story hotels and build affordable housing. I just don't see that. That's not what these guys are into. That's not what they're doing, and that's not what their land they have can be used for. Anyways, they got to develop the land that's there. So I don't disagree. They should be building homes for the homeless, but comparing this project to that is apples and oranges. It really doesn't have any relation to it, and even though I agree that they should be building homes for the homeless or do something, spend money on that rather than two towers, this isn't the company that's going to do it. So we welcome them building, and it's going to be very nice down there. And buy into Doug Ford's Vegas of the North idea for Niagara Falls, which I'll talk about later if I get to it. Now we're going to go over to my second sponsor, Hamilton Glowstone Lighting. And if you've ever been in a neighborhood at night, you see one house that stands out because of the beautiful lighting it has. It's probably Hamilton Glowstone Lighting. They probably did it, the leaders in permanent outdoor lighting for your house. Now, these are permanent lights. They go up once, and then you don't have to monkey around with them. It's not like every year Christmas comes, you got to climb a ladder and start putting up all these cords and lights to make your house look nice. No, these are there. And what happens at Christmas, you go on your phone and you go like this, and you turn zone 1 red, zone 2 green, zone 3 red, zone 4 green. You have your beautiful red and green, or any combination you want. A million different colors you can control on those lights. They're LED lights, low in power usage, nice and bright. They make your house look fantastic, and they add value to your house. When you have them on just plain white, they light up your pathways, your gardens, your walkways. They're very, very decorative, and you can change that color. Say green for St. Patrick's Day, orange, Halloween's coming up. But the good thing is you don't have to go out there and put all these lights up. Now, how are they installed? Well, the installers, they're professionals. They come over, they put up all these tracks of lights, they connect them all together, but not with plugs or cords. They solder the joints together. They seal them so they're impervious against dust and moisture, so they last a nice long time. And as a matter of fact, they offer lifetime warranty on their product. That's how confident they are. How do you get these beautiful lights? Well, what you do is you pick up the blower, pick up the phone, and you call Colin Buckborough, who owns Hamilton Glowstone Lighting, and you give him a call at 289-969-1797. And you say, Colin, I heard Paul talking about it on Your City, Your Voice. Come on over, give me a free quote. Colin will come over, give you a free quote, and away you go. You got your lighting, and you don't have to worry about it again. That's it. That's how simple. 289-969-1797. Colin Buckborough, and you're good to go. Tell them Paul from Your City, Your Voice sent you. And if you want a lot of lights in that, and the price is just a little bit maybe out of your reach right now, well, I mean, you can finance some of it. They do have financing on approved credit. So you just say, okay, I'm going to give you this much. We'll finance the rest, pay you a little monthly fee for a couple of years, and bada bing, bada boom, you got it. And that's it. It's done. Hamilton Glowstone Lighting. Give them a call today, and thank you to them for sponsoring this show. Now, we talked about this tragic incident at John Allen Park, and when I read the final report on it, well, it's not the final report, but who did it? It blew my mind. Very, very rare. It was a woman who did this, and she is now being called a serial killer by police. Now, in the realm of serial killers, this is very rare that a woman is a serial killer. Apparently, she killed a person in Hamilton and another in Toronto, the one in the Falls, and there's another possibility of a woman in Burlington. They're looking for this missing woman, and she was in the vicinity of that woman before she disappeared. So, police are trying to connect all the dots to this whole thing. They were random acts, picking out someone for no apparent reason and allowing them and just dealing death to them for no reason. It doesn't make any sense. So, what kind of maniac is this? But it's very rare for, like I said, for women to be serial killers. And how rare is it? Well, in the U.S., only 8.6% of serial killers are women, and 70% of those do it for financial gain. In other words, there's a reason they're killing people. Very rare thing indeed. And I was surprised when I heard it was a woman. We all know another one, right? Homolka, walking free right now after committing the most horrendous killings of all, her own sister. I mean, that's not justice, but she is out there. And I'm just mentioning that because I was really shocked. I mean, I won't even mention the person's name. I don't want to give them any airtime. I mean, they should be. To me, this is a great case for capital punishment. This is it. I'm a big advocate, so I think this is a case for it. And I know that opinion's going to elicit many responses, comments. Okay, comment on the video. Tell me I'm a jerk and everything else. Go ahead. I don't care. But go to the video, like it, and comment on it. I'm going to end this with condolences to the gentleman, Mr. Cunningham, his family and friends. There was no reason for his life to end this way, and it breaks my heart to see this. It's just terrible. Vaya con Dios, amigo. And we're not going to forget it. We're not going to forget it. We're not going to forget it. It's touched everybody in this city. Touched everybody. And you won't be forgotten. Okay, let's shoot over to Welland. There's always something goofy happening in Welland, right? I love Welland. Welland's a never-ending source of stuff. There's always stuff going on in Welland. So I'm going to do a whatever happened to. Remember that condo that double collapsed? Well, there's some new updates on it. 2 professional engineers are taking the rap on this one. The Ministry of Labor said 2 engineers were charged on August 15th under sections of the Labor Act, which reads, as a professional engineer did, as a result of advice negligently or incompetently given, they endangered a worker or workers at a workplace. The ministry would not name the 2 engineers. So when they won't name the 2 charged, I have to say it was probably not Mr. Smith or Mr. Jones. The two appeared in court on September 26th, and the matter was adjourned to December 12th. The ministry has issued 21 orders and requirements to EverTrust, the builder, since the two collapsed in February of 2023, and they're still investigating the event, believe it or not. Now, Joyce Morocco, a spokesperson for EverTrust and regional counselor, said the company officials were not aware of the ministry charges, oddly enough. She said they were still waiting for the final official report on the two collapsed buildings. Welland City Council also appeared to be unaware of the charges. Pretty top secret stuff over here. The builders say they are on course to having a site, one of the sites enclosed by 2025 in the spring 2026 opening. Well, I guess the site enclosed, the whole thing, by 2025 in January, and a spring 2026 opening. Groundbreaking was in September 2021, with a then predicted opening in May of 2023 until they collapsed. Collapse screwed that all up. And of course, the ministry has been investigating the February 2023 collapse ever since. So there you go. That's what happened. Thank you to Dave Johnson of the Welland Tribune for this story, and I guess that's what's going on there for now. They are going to continue on, and I don't know. There's nothing that says what happened to the people who prepaid and the residents that are going to live there, because I don't know. I got a feeling some of those prepaid guys said, "Hey, we want our money back." First of all, we were supposed to move in. We're not. We're going to move in 3 years late. What's going on with that? And second of all, I don't know, something collapses. Do you really want to live in there? I don't know. I don't know what the mindset is there, but I would say that that could be a situation. Back in the Niagara Falls. Now, here's a good one. Niagara Falls is looking into a pilot project to provide the unhoused residents with municipal jobs. What an original idea. How many times have we said this? Put the people on welfare to work, put the unhoused to work, put the homeless to work. And you know what? For as long as I can remember, people have been advocating for that same thing. There were really not so many homeless back then. It was all people on welfare and that, just hanging around doing nothing when they could be working and contributing. So people always said for them to pick up brooms and sweep the streets and clean up and do stuff. But that was always it was always put, the kibosh was always put on it because of the unions, right? The union said, no, if you're going to get somebody to do that, you got to hire them full time. And then, not welfare workers, hire them full time, get them in the union, and don't pay them minimum wage, pay them union wages, and get them in the union. And that, if they're not, and if there's people already in the union that want to do that work, they have first choice. So it was always screwed up by the unions. Now, this is like another one of those old ideas pulled out of the fireball by Councillor Patel. And she seems to be a pretty good expert at this. She always brings up these ideas that have been tried and true for years. And they never flew, a lot of them. I just can't I just can't imagine how this is going to happen. They're going to hire them for the city of Niagara Falls, which probably isn't going to happen. And I don't know if these people can even work if they're strung out on drugs or have severe mental illnesses. How are they going to go to work? There are jobs out there they can work already, but they can't hold a 40-hour work week job because of their conditions. And I mean, what would this cost the taxpayers to have to supervise these people for 8 hours a day and chase them all over the city trying to get them to work? Half won't show up, probably, maybe more. And I don't know. So if you're just looking for work at the city, a regular dude who wants to get into the city, I guess you can, unless you're homeless. You got to show a homeless card or something. I mean, that's kind of discrimination, no? What happened to DEI? The inclusion part is out. Those wanting to work for the city, I guess, unless you're part of some group. Now, this idea just seems way out there, doesn't it? It seems way out there to me. And to waste staff time investigating this and taxpayer money on it when they could be doing other things, it seems ridiculous. Yeah, I know. I don't get it. I don't get it. But I just can't imagine. And sure, there are people who are homeless who aren't addicted to drugs and aren't strung out or mentally ill. But those people can get jobs themselves right now. There's no reason if they're able, they can go get a job. There's jobs around. Because I know people who have 2 or 3 jobs. And I know a lot of people are looking for dependable people, but 9 times out of 10, they don't want them. They don't want them. They don't want to work. So there's that as well. I just don't see how this is going to fly or how it's going to work and how it just doesn't make sense. For anybody to entertain it, I got to say it's just going to be another one of those things that waste time and money, taxpayer money. So, some good news out of St. Catharines. We have good news to report today. Niagara students continue to show positive results in standardized testing, topping provincial averages in a grade 3, grade 6 reading, writing, and math, and at the secondary level. This is great news because a lot of these kids seem to be way out there, right? I mean, just talk to them. You find out. But the District School Board of Niagara said its grade 3 students top provincial averages by as much as 20%. Good for them, with reading at 88% and writing and math at 81%. And the district school thing of Niagara said that it was a great affirmation of the work they have been doing and the path they are on appears to be the right path. So congratulations to them. Now, they just quit teaching these kids to be Karens. We might really be bringing up the current crop of kids the right way. Teach them critical thinking, analytical thinking, and common sense approach to a lot of problems. That's what they need, the basics of life. And they're going to all be on the road to success because that's what's really missing today. I mean, critical thinking, analytical thinking, and common sense. You know, tampons are not needed in boys' bathrooms. Boys cannot compete in women's sports. Boys are not allowed in girls' change rooms or bathrooms. If you're a boy, you're not a girl. If you're a girl, you're not a boy. If we can get these basics down, we really have something going with the crop of students coming up now. I think they have to teach the fundamentals of school, reading, writing, and arithmetic, and the fundamentals of life. If we do that, we're going to raise a great generation. So it's good to see they're on the right paths in some areas. In other areas, not so much. Not so much. Oh, so we talked about Florida already, and I still keep thinking about Florida. I mean, Florida's a swamp, right? I mean, they're a swamp as it is. More rain and more hurricanes. That's not what they need. So it's just crazy. Very, very unusual. And I keep telling people, watch the news and pray for these people in Florida. Now, I saw a thing that said gas prices are on the rise again. And of course, there's always someone to blame except our federal government that taxes the shite out of all of us with insane HST and carbon taxes. Well, this time they're blaming the fight between Israel and Iran. That's it. That's it. They aren't even in a full blown war yet. They're just lobbing a couple bombs back and forth right now. And we're getting that as an excuse. Imagine when Israel blows up all the oil wells and stops oil production, what they're going to say. I mean, what are the prices of gas going to be then? And you know what? I mean, it leads me to this question. Where's the Canadian oil going to go? I mean, we have lots here. Why are we always allegedly under the gun for high gas prices due to events in other parts of the world? Why can't we just produce oil here? Our own oil, we've got lots. And refine it here. I mean, why don't they just use our own oil to satisfy Canadian demand for oil and keep our prices low? I don't get it. And excuse me for using common sense and asking common sense questions. I mean, that's what you should be doing, right? but it never seems to happen. Let's go back to those kids. Teach them common sense. Common sense is seldom common today. I'll tell you that right now. So what do we got here? Got to take a trip down south. I was going to go down south after the weekend. There's been a couple of press conferences and rallies, but the biggie was at 5 o'clock on Saturday when President Trump returned to Butler, Pennsylvania. And it was just unfriggin' believable. That's the place where the guy shot at him and clipped him with a bullet on his ear, just missed. And he came back, and there had to be 75 to 100,000 people there. As far as the eye could see, it was unbelievable. It was more like a pilgrimage for people to see him. It was just crazy. It was just crazy. And of course, it was a big tribute. It wasn't like a political rally. It was a tribute to Corey Compatore as well as the other two people that were shot that same day. Corey was killed, of course. David Dutch and James Copenhaver, and they lived through it. But David Dutch was in the crowd that day, and the other gentleman, James, was in the hospital getting more treatment for the bullet wounds he received. And it was a real touching moment. Lee Greenwood led Trump on stage with God Bless the USA live. He was singing it live. And the scenario was set up the exact same way the day of the assassination attempt. The stage, the flags, everything, the very, very same. The only difference was, Trump had a big glass wall around him, just in case some other maniac tries and the Secret Service lets him through again. But there was all kinds of, well, you name it, Secret Service, SWAT, every spook in the world was in Butler, Pennsylvania that day. Everybody. Good day to try something in New York City. All the spooks were in Butler, Pennsylvania. And Trump started it perfectly. I thought he was going to say, "Now where was I?" But he said, "As I was saying," and then they had that graph up, a picture of the graph up that he was looking at when he turned his head, and they just missed him. So as I was saying, the crowd went wild. It was crazy. They rang 4 bells in honor of Corey Compatore and the other woman who died. They had an opera singer singing Ave Maria. Has anybody ever seen a political rally where Ave Maria was sang by an opera singer in honor of somebody? It was unbelievable. Never seen before. Maybe never, hopefully never have to be seen again. Elon Musk made an appearance, although I must say Elon is brilliant at most things, but public speaking is not his bag, baby. He made the case for Trump and encouraged everyone to get out and register to vote. But Elon's a funny guy. I don't know if you've ever seen interviews with him. He's a pretty candid person. Talks about everything. He was wearing a T-shirt that said "Occupy Mars," and he was he's not a good public speaker. It's not his forte. It was an unbelievable event attended by thousands and tens of thousands of people. As far as the eye could see, you saw people, and really something to see. And kudos to Trump for going back there. I mean, he went back, talked to the people, and they just loved it. They just loved that he did come back to Butler, and they sure made up for what happened on July 13th at 6:11, and at 6:11, that's when they honored Corey Compatore. Actually, he was supposed to go on at 5. He delayed it so that his everything would hit at 6:11 when the shots rang out, so that he could honor Corey Compatore. And they had the whole outfit there, his jacket, fireman jacket and hat that they had at the Republican National Convention on stage. It was pretty good. Now, over in Kamala Harris land, she drew a crowd of maybe 4 to 5,000 people in a small arena that might hold 6,500 at most. And she spoke for about 25 minutes, then left abruptly. Her teleprompter went down while she was talking, and she was totally stuck for the next lines and kept repeating 32 days without the teleprompter rolling for her. She was truly lost. She just can't deliver speech. Now, no, this was like one of the rallies she did, and I think it was I wasn't in Michigan. I don't know, it was somewhere anyway. Now, her husband, Doug Emhoff, he's not doing Kamal any favors right now. Now he's being accused of slapping his ex-girlfriend so hard it spun her around, witnessed by people. And this woman that's making the allegation is a corporate attorney. I mean, she's pretty big in her field, and claims she never came forward due to the fear of retaliation by Emhoff. Emhoff, of course, is denying this, saying the report is untrue. Any suggestion that he would or has ever hit a woman is false. Um, of course, like every other American except Trump, Emhoff is innocent until proven guilty. But other than the denial in a small publication, there's been really nothing in the mainstream media about this incident. And there is proof of it. So we'll see what happens with that. But he's sure not doing Kamala any favors. And this comes on the heels of a report that Emhoff got his nanny pregnant while he was married, and nobody really knows what happened to that baby. So she's got him acting up and with all these skeletons in the closet, and then she's got Tim Waltz on the other side, and this guy, he's got mamma mia, like probably a very bad choice. Probably should have taken Shapiro from Pennsylvania, maybe a way better choice, but the die is cast, the deed is done. There's 30 days left, basically. Maybe not even 30 days, less than 30 days to the election, and it's going to fall where it falls. Right now, it looks like Trump is going to landslide her. I think even CNN has had a map up showing where the votes are going to come from in all the states, and basically Trump has every state except New York and California, and even some of these swing states, Minnesota for one. That's on the bubble, of course, because of Waltz and Harris, and they basically swing that way anyway with the amount of immigrants living there. So it's going to be a real touchy one in that state, and maybe I think there's maybe another one that's on the bubble. Wisconsin could be, Michigan could be, but basically they're saying that she might get 174 electoral college votes out of the 272 she needs, which leads Trump to have like 340 or 350, a total landslide. Okay, I want to get my third sponsor in, Victoria Avenue Pete's Pizza. You ready for a pizza, everybody? I mean, I'm always ready for pizza. Yeah, you know that, right? I'm a pizza snob. But if you're looking for a great pizza tonight, why not give Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue a call? Um, the guy who owns it, Mike, has been in the restaurant business 15 years. He worked 15 years in an Italian restaurant, so he knows a little bit about sauces and cheese and that kind of thing. And when I talked to him about pizza, I told him, I have to like your pizza, Mike, or I won't take you on as a sponsor, because I wouldn't be able to promote something I didn't like. So I went in there in disguise, and I should say Liz went in there, got a pizza and brought it home, and I really liked it. They use an old family Italian recipe, which was made by the Mancini family. Reno Mancini opened this place. Maybe his dad did, and he took it over. But they are Italians. They have great sauce. They have great crust. It's fantastic. They even use cornmeal on the bottom of the crust, which is a plus for me. That's a point right there. But I was talking to Mike about how he makes a pizza, and he says he used Saputo mozzarella, the good mozzarella from Saputo, and also he blends it with brick cheese to give it that nice stretch and taste. Yeah, and if you talk to anybody who knows pizza, most of them say this is the way you make a good combination of cheese for a pizza. The sauce, of course, is also from the Mancini family recipe. So you put the sauce on and you get the right blend of ratio of cheese and sauce, and you got yourself a winner. But they don't stop at pizza, at great pizza. They have panzerotti, they have poutine, they have weekly specials, combos. You got to get their menu. You got to see it. They have all kinds of goodies on there for you. They're also celebrating their 40th anniversary this year in honor of being 40 years in the pizza business. They've put two medium pizzas with three toppings on each up for grabs at $25. Plus HST, of course. And that special is going to go on to the end of the year. So, geez, $25 for two medium pizzas, three toppings. That's not bad. And that runs to the end of the year. Now, able to serve you better, Mike from Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue has extended his hours. Sunday to Thursday, they're open to midnight. Friday and Saturday, they're open. They're open till 2 in the morning. Now, if you know Niagara Falls, there's not a lot open that'll deliver or give you food after about 11 o'clock at night. So this is great. Get those Friday and Saturday munchies. After watching the hockey game and having a few brewskis or whatever, now you got a place to go. They're open on Friday and Saturday till 2 in the morning. Pete's Pizza on Victoria Avenue. Call 905-374-2222 for your order, or go online. They have online ordering. Pete's Pizza Victoria.ca. Check out their full menu. Throw in an order. Your pizza awaits you. Now, I just think of pizza and I feel like having a piece. That's the way I like pizza. I love pizza. My favorite food. Pizza and pasta. Now, maybe that's why I can't lose weight. What do you think? Oh, let's go up to Toronto here. Headline reads, Doug Ford wants to turn Niagara Falls into Las Vegas North. And, I always watch Facebook for the comments on these ones because this is, back in the day when they decided whether they wanted a casino in Niagara Falls or not, it was a big, big contentious issue. I mean, they had a referendum in 1994 on the election, on the ballot, asking whether you wanted a casino or not in Niagara Falls. And there were 10,000 people at that time in Niagara Falls that said, no, we do not want a casino. So it's been a contentious issue since day one. And you always hear people complaining about the traffic and everything else casinos brings, the crime, prostitution, drug, the whole shot, which we always had in Niagara Falls anyway. But some of the comments don't paint Niagara Falls in a great light. And not the casino district. They say it's pretty nice down there, but the city in general. I mean, there were over like 1,000 comments on this post. Some of them read as follows. One of his, Ford's better ideas, Niagara's is great, but it's stale. Should have turned into Vegas should turn it into Vegas and get an F1 race too. Yeah, okay, I can go for that. That'd be cool. F1's driving down the parkway, doing a circuit. Yeah, right around Duff. And here's another comment. Well, Niagara Falls is a dump, so might as well build some nice hotels and casinos. Another comment. Do it. Why not? Other than a 2-block radius, the whole area is a ghost town and filled with mattresses, filled with drug addicts. Anything is better than it is, to be honest. Now, I'm just reading comments here. So I didn't say them. Don't get mad at me. People get mad at me, and I never said. I'm just the messenger. I'm telling you about the comments. You want to see them? Go on to Facebook and check them all out. Another one. Casinos make a ton of tax money for the province. Niagara Falls needs an upgrade. Make it world class. Yes. So there's an agreement. Another one. Ontarians want him to invest in public health care and public education. Only when we are healthy and have disposable income can we think about going to such places. And that was a common theme. The money can be used better elsewhere, in other ways, right? And they're talking about, the province investing in healthcare and public education. And then another guy says, should have happened 20 years ago. 5 years after Fallsview opened, that's when they should have done it. Nowadays, gambling is an online operation. For opening more casino resorts won't do much. Lundy's Lane is where a couple of more casino resorts could have been built. Get rid of the seedy motels. Downfall is there's no airport, so how will people travel there? Through Toronto, sit in gridlock to and from Niagara. So he's making the point for the airport, the district airport, Niagara District Airport, which I believe there are plans to expand, and I think they should. You're going to get people on junkets that will be able to come in and be right here and take buses from there to the casino, stay for a couple days on a junket, and then get back to the airport and go home. There's going to be charters that'll be able to run stuff. I think that's a great idea, and I think it would fly. See what I did there? See what I did there? I think it'll fly. Yeah. Okay. So that's another great idea, and I think Mayor Jim has mentioned this before about the Niagara District Airport being a hub for junkets coming into Niagara Falls. But I don't think we're there yet. I don't think we're there yet. We need more casinos. Like when you start moving casinos around in that would be good. It would help a lot of different areas of the city that need help. Another one, Doug Ford needs to be checked into a rehab facility. You put Doug Ford. We know Rob Ford did for sure, but interesting comment. So one guy says, "Hey, I know what to do. People in Ontario are getting stressed over the rising cost of living. Let's build a Ontario Vegas." And I'm just reading it as it was written. So they gamble away the leftover money that they didn't already take from us in taxes. Brilliant. Yeah, they've already grabbed all our money. We don't have any money to gamble. Another guy, this works for the province. Add tourists, take their money, and augment our tax revenue so we can afford healthcare. Great idea. So there's some other comments. There was a lot more. Some were funny, some were serious, some were great ideas about it. There was a lot more comments. I just gave you a little cross section, and a lot of them were some good suggestions, some positive, some negative, but you get the idea. There's a great talking point here about the casinos, and them online talking about it gets them involved. People are involved. They have ideas and they want to be involved. I just hope that whatever their ideas are and whatever they want to get involved at what level, part of that is getting involved when it comes to going to the ballot box and voting. If you don't like the way things are going right now, then you got to change. You got to change it and get people in there that kind of have your mindset, that think like you do about this kind of thing. And the only way you're going to do that is if you don't agree with city council now and their ideas and what they're doing, then you have to get them out of there and then get some new people in who agree with you, who qualified people. So it's a great way to have diversity and have people talking about different things and getting them involved. And I know a lot of people want to see a solution for homelessness, healthcare, and high taxes. Ultimately, it doesn't mean a lot for the city of Niagara Falls if our city and regional councils mismanage any monetary benefit we would receive. And this is what it comes down to at the end of the day, right? And this has been one big question all the time. Because at the end of the day, what's it doing for the citizens of Niagara Falls? And I don't know about you, but I haven't seen a lot. And when you look at it, if it doesn't mean anything for the city of Niagara Falls, how can we get excited about it? I mean, we've seen a lot of money pass through the city council, close to $250,000 since 1996 when the first casino opened. And we're no better off than any other city that doesn't have the money. We have to ask ourselves, why is that? We have to seriously ask that question and get an answer. If we ascribe to Premier Ford's plan to make Niagara Falls Vegas North, and if it won't benefit city residents at all, then why are they going to buy into it? Why should they be excited about more casinos in Niagara Falls if they're not finding the roads better and the homeless situation gone? all we get is more congestion on roads, hospital and schools as the city expands its resident base. The city's going to expand its resident base to fill employment needs, which means they're going to bring more people into the city to be able to fill the expected employee need once they build more casinos, if they expand the casino, which is great. But as we expand, we always have to remember we need more infrastructure. There's more costs involved with more people. We found that out over the last 7 or 8 years in Niagara Falls, where we can't meet the demands of a lot of roads. The infrastructure can't meet the demands of the increased population. So when it gets even more and more, we're going to get more behind and more behind. And the money that we need to do this has to come from the province, of course. If they're going to do this and build us into the Vegas North, then we need some funds to be able to deal with hospitals and schools as the city expands. I mean, is Niagara Falls ready for this? Be in the Vegas North? I would say no. No, we're not ready at all. We can't even deal with what we have now. I mean, look around. You just have to look around the city. You'll see what I mean. And so you can say this or that, but basically, we've got money that no other city has, and we're no better off. So all the benefits of having this casino and giving us 20 million a year, where are they? And they can say, "Oh, we haven't raised your taxes as much as we should," and blah 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 blah. But you know what? That's on a piece of paper. It's called accounting. Accounting. We don't see that. What we see is the real things, like weeds all over the place, a messy city, bad roads, bad roads, and the things that we need day to day. Oh yeah, we see these goofy projects going up, $12 million trails and pickleball courts and all these amenities that a very very small percentage of Niagara Falls uses, but everybody in Niagara Falls uses the roads. And everybody in Niagara Falls sees the homeless and the dirt and the litter and that. And that's, somebody said all the time, and I always say this, politicians, if the city's clean, if the city's safe, and if you have good roads, and, most people don't complain a lot. But, we're struggling to even clear the sidewalks of snow now. We had a big discussion about that. We get $20 million a year from the casino that other cities don't have, and they have amenities that clear sidewalks of snow and do a lot of things and have better roads without that money. So what's happening to the money? It's mismanagement. That's all you can nail it down as. I mean, and I think if we get new casinos, they got to be strategically located. We can't have them where the other ones are. We got to put one downtown somewhere. We got to find room here, bulldoze a few blocks, and put a casino down here to attract people to the downtown core and help businesses down here. So we got to think out where we're going to put it. Maybe one in Chippewa. I don't know. Maybe the people in Chippewa don't want it, but we have to look at different situations. My first idea when they first said about a casino was to bulldoze Silvertown and put it right there and call it the Silvertown Casino. So there's going to have to be a lot of studies done about where we need these and what's going to be best for the city. Because if we put them all down the Fallsview area, that's no good neither. That's no good neither. We have to have them in other locations, which will help other areas of the city to be better. To be better. So I think strategically, that's what we have to do. Anyway, that's just my opinion. Stay tuned for this one. We'll see what Dougie Ford does from Toronto, and what I know Mayor Jim would like to see this. So that's a good thing. We have some council members who are on board with this. Of course, you're going to get the woke yelling and screaming, but at the end of the day, if it helps the city, why not? Anyway, give me your comments in the video when you see it. See what you think about it. Give me your comments. We'll discuss them on the next show. When I get on the next show, we'll talk about this whole thing or anything on the video today. Don't forget to subscribe. Give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down. I mean, what the heck? We'll take both ways. And hit the notifications so you know when the next video appears and goes up. You'll find out. It'll get a ding dong. Anyway, time to get out of here. Thank you for listening today, everybody. Thank you for coming and watching the show, listening live if you're on on 4680Q radio. You hear it live or watch the video later on. I should have it up later on this afternoon, and you can watch it at your leisure, as well as other videos. They're all up there. Every day I put the video on there. So if you want to see past shows or there's something you want to check out, you can go see it on my past videos. Go visit them and watch them all. Good for a laugh anyway, right? Kill an hour of your time. Anyway, my name is Paul Calabir. This is Your City, Your Voice, coming to you live from downtown Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada, in the studios of 4680Q Radio, the big sign right over there. And look across the street to the meteor crater. That's where we are, right across the street. Have a great day, everyone. Enjoy this funky weather, but, it's not that bad out. Enjoy the weather. Enjoy your time. Pray for the people in Florida. They're going to get zapped in a couple days. Something they don't need. And, peace. Pray for peace, I guess. That's the next thing we got to watch over in the Middle East. Take care, everybody. Have a great day. See you later.